what will your focus be as ALA's new leader?
Well, as my focus as ALA's new leader, I have a couple of areas that I talked about in my campaign, and I haven't really refined exactly how I'm going to do this yet. I'm really thinking about that now that I've been elected. But I have two areas that I want to work on. One is advocacy. Obviously, that's a very important area. It's a very important area for the association now, and I'm sure by the time I'm president in a year, it will be continue to be an important area. I want to build on the work that Camilla has done with frontline advocacy, and that now Roberta is going to implement in her presidential year. But what I'm really trying to do is look at how we help mobilize constituents from all types of libraries to speak out and become advocates for their libraries. So I'm talking about not only what many people think about as the Friends of the Library around public libraries, but working with academic and school libraries to talk about how do we mobilize students and faculties to speak up, or parents of students who are in elementary school, so that we can help turn around this effort that we see happening, that we're fighting to keep libraries alive, but in fact we're getting lost sometimes in the budget cutting that's going on by the institutions that we're serving. I believe so strongly in the value of libraries and what libraries contribute to the organizations or the communities that they're in. And I think we just need to be better, not only at articulating that, but also at getting our constituents to do that. So that's one area. The second area is diversity. It's an area I've been very interested in throughout my career. And I really want to look at, now that we've been really working for several years at recruiting a more diverse workforce from all types of backgrounds, I want to look at how do we make sure we retain those people. Retention is a really big issue. It's not just enough to hire and recruit, but we need to make sure we create welcoming environments for people to work in and to contribute and really grow and develop as professionals and as library workers throughout our organizations. So really want to, again, look at the work ALA has been doing in this area and build on that, but carry it to another step. And also look at how, in the diversity effort, we make sure we're also hooking that to the important roles and that many of our divisions are playing in building library leaders for the future. I want to make sure we're building a diverse leadership core for the future of not only the association, but libraries in general, library workers in general.
Okay. Next, in spite of the economy, the ALA membership is holding pretty steady. Can you talk about why you think that is?
Well, I think people, when they go into a particular field, are looking for things that reinforce and support them in that area. And I think ALA has been very successful at providing an opportunity for networking, particularly through conferences and other ways that people can serve. But I think ALA is getting better and better at the virtual environment. So what do you get from an ALA membership if you don't come to conferences or you don't come to every conference? I really believe ALA is looking at how to do that. I think ALA is doing some very good programs to reach out to newer members. I know in the work that I've been involved in with LAMA, the Library Leadership and Management Association, we're really looking at how do we make sure that the new members of LAMA feel engaged, and it's not something where they sort of feel as if it's only the people who have been involved for 20 years who can get something out of the membership. And I think ALA works really hard at figuring out what its members want and need from the association. So it's really the value to memberships, value of membership to people in the field, and what do they get from it, and how do we make sure that it's worth their dues.
Okay. Then sort of the other side of that, despite the steady membership, the ALA is having real trouble getting people to vote in elections with just over 10,000 people casting ballots in your election. What can be done to increase ALA election participation?
Well, I've actually talked to some people since I got to this conference and got elected who said, well, I didn't vote in the election because I really didn't know candidates. And so I think that helping people sort of feel that there's some reason that they should care, that they should be engaged. I think we're getting, as candidates, sort of better at sort of finding ways to reach out to people through websites and Facebook and other things, so that they don't have to be people who've been involved with the association and members of committees to actually know somebody or been on council or whatever it is. But at the same time, I totally understand that. I'm a member of a lot of divisions, and it was a lot of work for me to go through all the different votes that I needed to do. So we need to make people care about it, but I don't think we're ever going to get to 75 or 80% voter turnout. I just like to see us get more to like 30% or 35% rather than 20%.
Okay. Next, in these challenging economic times, what role does the association have in making sure libraries and librarians thrive, especially when it's struggling with its own budgetary issues?
Well, the association is here really to support the profession and to support libraries and the advancement of libraries. So I think we listen to people who are our members, that we look at what's happening in the field, and we have a great resource in that we have these people who are the membership that drives the agenda. I think we pay a lot of attention to what's happening in the field, what's happening in libraries. ALA comes in and supports those organizations when that presence is important. But I think really providing the support, the tools people need, that's the kind of thing that ALA can do.
And then the last question, you already spoke about this a bit, but does the association have a responsibility to continue its diversity focus to serve an increasingly diverse population?
I not only think we have a responsibility, but I think our thriving in the future depends on our continuing to focus on diversity. As a public library director, I will tell you, when I hired people from diverse backgrounds in a community that had populations that were significant populations, but they weren't majority, or they weren't even 40% of the population. What we saw was people started coming into the libraries. And so I've always described it as, when we reflect the populations we serve, we have a much better chance to serve them because we understand the cultures. We have people who are working in libraries who understand the cultures. I believe the same thing is true for ALA. I really intend to work closely with the ethnic caucuses of ALA. I plan to work closely with the various elements that are found elsewhere within, diversity elements that are found elsewhere within the association, because I think we as an association must look like not only the country at large, but also the people that are working in libraries at all different levels, and make sure that people see themselves reflected in this association, in the leadership, in the people who are spokespeople, in many different ways.
Okay. Are there any specific thrusts or programs that ALA should be focusing on or continuing?
Well, I'm very pleased about the initiative right now that's going on to raise a lot more money for the Spectrum Scholarships. I think that's been really important. I've seen that in the work that I've done where people have come in through Spectrum Scholarship. I think the Emerging Leaders Program has been very important. It's also paid attention to diversity in the process. I don't know how much attention is paid as much as it's had a diverse group of people who are the emerging leaders. So I think continuing on those efforts, but as I said, then making sure that we're doing things to create a welcoming environment for people who are coming into the profession so that they feel they can be contributing members and involved members of the association and have that kind of inviting environment.